Hey kids, it's your old pal Mr. Sketchy. Today I'm working one of my favorite gigs, which is a security gig. What I do is I go to a local restaurant or grocery store or something of that nature, and I find cars that people have left unlocked. You know, a lot of unscrupulous people will take advantage of this kind of situation. But what I do is I get in the car and I can just keep an eye on it until they get out. You know, I usually do this for tips or spare change. I find. Anyway, there's a lot of waiting in this line of work, so I thought maybe I'd make a sketchbook video for you, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So let's do some sketching. Yeah, let's go. Alright, so today we're going to draw some cones and some pyramids. Alright, so we're going to divide the paper in four. As usual, my paper is with a landscape orientation, but you can use a portrait orientation, that's fine. This is just easier for me because this is the way my screen is shaped when I record. And your screen is shaped when you watch, hopefully. I don't know. Let's start with the foreshortened circle. We're going to draw a cone first. From the center of the circle, I'm going to draw a vertical line going up. I'm going to make it as tall as I want the cone to be. Then I'll connect the foreshortened circle to the topmost point of that central line to make a cone shape. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and draw this in darkly. I want to start off sketching lightly first, as usual, and then go in and darken my lines once I figure out where I want everything to be. Alright, so we're not going to be able to see the back of the circle if we have an opaque cone, so we're just going to draw those edges there. It basically looks like almost like a pizza slice. Here's my little sun spike to show us which way the light's coming from. Coming from over my left shoulder here. Now I'm going to sketch in the terminator line, which is the line that divides the light from the shadow. And I'm going to go and shade in my shadow side. Alright, get that nice and shaded in. And then since we have a curved surface here, I want to have a gradient that transitions into the light side. So we're just going to start with a basic cone here, but we'll get a little more complex as we go. We'll really have some fun with it in a minute. We're really going to have a wild time. Get ready. Alright, so I'm going to kind of smooth out this gradient a little bit, get a nice transition in there. And so that's like what our basic cone looks like. Here I want to draw out kind of the center line of the cast shadow. I want to make it match my little sundial there. And I'm just going to shade that in. So it should have the same shape as the cone basically, but it can be either stretched out or squished depending on how high up in the sky the light source is. I'm going to draw in a horizon line for this as well. Now, let's talk about cones. If a cone is up above the horizon line, we'll be able to see the bottom like this. If it's below the horizon line, we will not be able to see the bottom, just like the first one we drew. And it'll look more like this. Let me fix this a little bit. I'm making all sorts of mistakes here. So just like boxes, just like cylinders, just like all the things we've done before. If it's above the horizon line, that's the same as being above your eye level, and you'll be able to see the bottom. And then if it's down below, you won't be able to see it. Now if you had like an inverted cone that was standing up the other way on its point, you'd be able to see the top if it's below the horizon line, and then you wouldn't be able to see it if it's above. Okay? So that's the basic idea with these cones here. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on, and we'll do a pyramid. So for a pyramid, we're going to start by drawing a box. Same way we did when we were drawing the boxes. We're just going to do like a rectangle. So we're going to make a diamond shape. We're going to do 4 little dots, 2 right above each other, and 2 out to the side. The 2 right above each other are going to be closer,
and the ones out to the side are going to be farther away. Again, from the center, I'll draw a line up, and then I'm going to connect each corner to the top of that line. You can make that line that goes up as tall as you want, just depending on how tall you want your pyramid to be. So here we've got the basic pyramid skeleton. And now I'm going to erase out the edges we won't be able to see. And now I'll go back in and draw in my edges. Alright, so basically we've got like two triangular shapes that when arranged this way look like a pyramid. Alright, so now we're going to shade the pyramid. So we'll draw in our little sundial. And this time we'll make the light coming from over my right shoulder. Just going the other direction, just to switch things up. You want to practice drawing with the light coming from all sorts of different directions, you know. And since we've got flat sides on this, I'm just going to shade this side in completely. Alright. I don't want it too dark because it's not facing directly away from the light. So kind of a middle tone. And then I like to draw that center line going out for the cast shadow to just get it at the right angle. Then we'll shade that in. So there's our pyramid. Alright, so these basic shapes are pretty easy, I hope. Here am I at a horizon line in the background. And there we go. Now, if you had pyramids that were flying in the sky, floating up above the earth, if like the aliens that built the pyramids came back and they were in pyramid spaceships, we'd be able to see the bottom because it'd be above the horizon line, which again is basically our eye level, or represents our eye level. Now, if it was down below the horizon, sitting on its tip, if it was inverted, we'd be able to see the top, or what was the bottom, but it's now the top because it got flipped. Okay? So depending on the positioning, we may or may not be able to see the bottom of the pyramid. Alright, so next, we're going to draw another cone. This time we're going to draw an ice cream cone. I told you I was going to get wild. Here we go. So I'm starting with this foreshortened circle and the two sides coming up to make a cone shape. I've got it at a bit of an angle, and I'm going to use some of my knowledge from previous lessons to draw a sphere. And this is going to be the ice cream scoop. I'll erase out this edge because it's going to be covered up by the sphere here. And I'm going to erase out the bottom of the sphere because it's going to be melting. Oh, what a sad thing to drop an ice cream cone. You guys, we've all done it. It's terrible. It's just the worst. Here's some melted ice cream in a pool at the base of the sphere here. You can make the pool whatever shape you want. And now I'm going to darkly draw in my edges of my cone. Like this. I'm going to put a little bit of ice cream cone texture on it. It's kind of got like a waffle pattern, right? I'm actually going to maybe curve these a little bit because it's also a curved surface. Do a little bit of cross contouring. I want to draw this in. This edge can be a little bit irregular if you want, because it is kind of melting. And I'm also going to draw in some drips. Just some drips coming down the side of the sphere and kind of going out into the pool of melted ice cream. Well, this is a sad drawing, I tell you what. Especially on a hot day like today. It was a real scorcher. I would have enjoyed some ice cream. Yeah, so there's our ice cream cone melting in the hot summer sun. So I'm going to draw in my little sundial and figure out which way I want the light to be coming from. Make it coming from over my left shoulder again. I'm going to shade in down here where the light's not going to be hitting. And again, for the cone, I've got a curved surface, which means it's going to be a gradient. Do a little bit of shading on this far side. And then kind of get a nice smooth transition between the shadow and the light areas. I'm going to shade it in my ice cream scoop, just kind of doing it the same way I do a sphere. So the lower edge and the edge to the right are going to have a little shadow on them. And I'm going to put a little shadow on the right hand side and the lower areas of the drips and make a nice melted ice cream cone here. Just going to put a little bit of tone over the whole thing. And there's our melted ice cream cone. And here maybe we'll add a cast shadow in, coming out this way. The shadow on my sundial there is really long, so we've got a low light source. So I'll stretch this one out as well. I'm adjusting the shape a little bit. There we go. Alright, so there's our ice cream cone of tragedy. Very sad stuff. Alright, so for this last one here, let's do like a high-tech sci-fi space pyramid. I was thinking about those aliens that built the pyramids earlier. Let's draw what the pyramids look like on their home planet. So we'll start by drawing a sort of square or rectangular base. We'll make that kind of squished sideways diamond shape with our 4 dots. And then we connect them together. That'll be the base of our pyramid. From here we'll have some lines going up at an angle. Kind of like this. And then I'm going to draw in a second box. So we're going to do kind of a split pyramid with a sphere in the middle. Like I said, I'm doing like a sci-fi thing. Alright, we'll connect those together and make a second box. So it looks like it's kind of split in half. Now we'll erase out those back edges. And let's add that sphere. Let's actually let's add the horizon line here. I'm going to add the top. So this pyramid is going to be separated, so the top will be floating up above. So I'm going to draw in another diamond shape. This one's up above the horizon now, so I'm going to be able to see the bottom of the upper portion of this pyramid. So it's looking like a pyramid that kind of opened up, if you see what I'm doing. And then inside I'm going to do like a sphere. I don't know what's going on here. This is weird, creepy stuff. This is some sci-fi, high-tech stuff. I don't know what's going on. I don't have to understand it. That's one of the great things about being creative and drawing. You don't really have to understand what's going on. You just kind of design what you think looks cool. Alright, so I'm going to draw in my sundial here. I'm going to have the light coming from off to the left. So now I'm going to draw in my lines a little darker. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so there we go. All our edges are darkened in. Now we're going to do a little bit of shading. So the left side of the pyramid is going to be light. The right side is going to be dark. And then our sphere we're going to shade the same way. We're going to do kind of dark on the lower edge and the right hand side. And then since it's curved, we're going to have a gradient for this one. So we want to have kind of a subtle transition between the dark and the light. And then for the pyramid, since we have flat sides, we're just going to shade all of this. We're going to shade all of this. And then we're going to shade the bottom of the upper half of the pyramid. Alright, so now we've got kind of a cool sci-fi looking pyramid. So there we go. Those are kind of the basics of how to draw cones and pyramids, and then maybe some fun things you can do with them. Let's add in that cast shadow, kind of going off this direction. Try to keep the shape similar to the pyramid there. And that just about does it, I think. There we go. So there's some fun things you can do with cones and pyramids, and the basics of how to draw them. Alright, here's our finished drawing. Isn't that beautiful, kids?
Oh, wow. Wasn't it a great video, kids? All right. Well, I hope you learned a lot there. Oh, wait. All right, kids. Hey, my customer's coming back, it looks like. There's a very, very burly gentleman walking towards the car. Okay. Gotta play it cool. This go bad if I don't play this right. Hold on. Let me do some business. Hello, sir. Yes.
What are you doing in my car?
I noticed your car was unlocked, so I sat in here to
get out of there
keep an eye
right
on it and
now.
make sure all of your belongings were secure.
I'm gonna give you a knuckle sandwich, you weirdo.
No, I mean, you could give me a little tip or something.
I'll give you a tip. Stay out of my car.
No. Oh, ow. Well, sometimes it doesn't go so well, kids. Oh man, that guy was not happy about that. Well, anyway, we'll see you next time. Yeah. I gotta go find a steak to put on my eye or something. Okay, bye, kids. See you next week.
Here's this week's drawing in case you need some time to catch up and finish it.